Hey guys, and welcome to my BookTube-A-Thon wrap up end of read-a-thon thing that I'm doing. Okay Abby, come on, what's your excuse this time? Was it too tiring? Did you lose track of time? Were the books just too long for you? Well, actually I did finish all 7 books in 7 days. I'm so proud of myself. So this video is just me reviewing the books that I have read in last week. I'm so sorry this is so late. So the first book I read was Dear Olly by Michael Morpurgo. It's okay, I guess. It's what you'd expect for a small kid's book, you know. It's just there. It was just part of the challenge, you know. It's not even anything that's going to stick with me forever. It's not going to change my life. I haven't looked at birds in a new way. It was just a good read. I just read it. So Dear Olly is about a young girl called Olly and her brother Matt, I think. Matt. And he goes off to Africa to be a clown. And yeah, it follows some sparrows at some point. Is it sparrows? Maybe it's swallows actually. Swallows, I think. But yeah, I read it. I did it. That's one. The second book I read, which also was in the first day, may I just add. I read 2 books in one day. Ottoline Goes to School by Riddell. Hey! Yeah, this is alright. It's great. I just love the illustrations. I knew I would. It's just a fun book for kids that I was so happy to read. This book follows Ottoline and Mr. Monroe, who go to the school for the difficultly gifted. Difficultly is a hard word to say. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a good book. Read it to your children, or you if you want to. It's good. Illustrations, beautiful, really cute. Good book. Woo! The third book I had to read outside, and it rained all day on the day I had to read it. So I sat under an umbrella with a blanket and I read Black Butler in a morning. I think there's like speckles of rain on each page. Whichever one it is, it's a continuation of the rest of the books. So I'd recommend starting at the beginning, not starting with this one, obviously. But the basic premise of Black Butler is there's CL Phantom Hive and he is an orphan, but he's inherited his entire like estate and his parents' company, and then he makes a deal with the demon who is called Sebastian, and he's his butler, and it's amazing and it's funny and I love it. It's just hilarious. But yeah, it's a great book. Read all of Black Butler. It's great. Moving on. Goth Girl by Riddell, which is beautiful inside and out. So this one was obviously getting harder to read, so I started with the really easy ones to read and then got harder. This one was really long. I think I finished it in a day. Day and a bit? Yes, probably, I think. But I read it. That's what counts. And it's really beautifully illustrated. Really beautifully. Let me show you one page. Look how pretty that is. She's a vampire, by the way, so just letting you know why she looks kind of dead. Really good book. I actually enjoyed reading this. So Goth Girl is about this young girl called Ada Goth who lives in a huge mansion with her dad and not her mum, because her mum died in a tightrope accident. I love Chris Riddell. He has the weirdest book ideas ever. They're just so odd, but they're so funny. Oh my god, I forgot. This book will kill you. There are so many references to other literature. Let me just... Where is it? It makes me want death. I'm just going to read you an extract. Who are Hansel and Gretel? They sound pretty grim. Do you think you're clever? Stop! Oh, I did laugh, to be honest. I had to show, like, everyone in my family that part because I just laughed so hard. It's such a funny book. It's hilarious. I don't want to throw it. Ooh. The 5th book, Michael Morpurgo's An Eagle in the Snow. This is a really good book. It's kind of weird, but it's really good. I was very confused at the end, I'm not gonna lie. I need to talk to someone about that because I don't know what happens at the end. I'm really confused still. But basically, it's a book about a boy called... I think he's called Billy, I don't remember. It's about a boy called Barney who lives in Coventry during the Blitz. So his like home was bombed by the Germans, and then he's going on a train to London, I think, to then go down to Brighton or Bournemouth, somewhere like that. But he's on a train, and he meets this guy who we don't know his name, and the guy tells Barney a story about the First World War and his friend in the war. And he got all these medals and stuff happens, bad things, oh dear. But yeah, at the end I was very confused, like very, very confused. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know the ending, the like very, very ending, do not watch this. Apparently he was talking to a ghost. But then he can't have been because there were matches there. So, but also his mum saw the ghost, so it can't have been a ghost, but apparently he had died. And it was in the papers. So I'm really confused. Do you mind? All Time Low? I don't really understand. Good book though. Now the next book was Once by Maurice Gleitzman. Now, what can I say about Once? It was slow to start. Very slow to start. The middle was alright. It was getting there. Then the end made me want to buy the next book. The end was so good. But I just need to know what's gonna happen. But it was just the start and the middle. I was just like, come on, I just need something to happen. Because nothing really happens at the beginning or the middle of the book. Some people die. Some more people die. Loads of people die. He finds a carrot. But then the ending is really, really good. So like, this much of the book is really good. So Once is about a boy called Felix who lives in Nazi-occupied Poland. And he's trying to find his parents who are Jewish, but he can't for obvious reasons. But he meets a guy who takes him in as well as a bunch of other children and hides them in like a basement within the ghetto so they can't be taken away. So, but then things happen. What things? Oh my goodness. But Felix protects this girl called Zelda, who he's like built a bond with because he helped her, took her away from some bad stuff that happened. And yeah, it's quite a good book towards the end. Like, if you're reading it, persevere, it's really good eventually. Trust me. I recommend. This leads us to the final book, the hyped book that I dedicated 2 days to reading, which didn't happen. I got 30 pages into The Maze Runner and I literally wanted to whack myself with the book. I hate it. I can't read that book. It's so bad. Oh my... I hate it. I'm sorry to anyone who likes it. But how can you like that book? It's dreadful. So instead, I have replaced it with this beauty of a book. It's still hyped. There's no doubt about it. But instead of reading The Maze Runner by James Dashner, I have read Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Can't say his name. You know that by now. I can't say people's names. This book... Oh my god, this book. I have fallen in love. Honestly, I can't even describe how much I love this. It's incredible. Like, hands down one of my favourite books I've ever read in my entire life. If you haven't read it right now. Drop everything and just read it. I can't even describe... Oh my... I love it. 10 out of 10 would read every single day of my life. So on the first day of my 2-day read of the hyped book, I read 30 pages of The Maze Runner. So that left me 1 day to read this entire book, full of very small words. Bearing in mind, I'd been reading this sort of thing all week. I then had to read this in a day. Which I did. I did it. I read this in a day. You have no idea how good I felt. Oh. Okay, I'll explain what this book is about if you haven't read it. The book is about a boy called Charlie who is in, you know, that awkward stage of life. He is a freshman? Is that what it's called? I don't remember. Are they freshmen of high school? He's 14, I know that. And all of his friends are seniors in high school. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. We don't have junior, senior, freshman things in the UK, so I don't really know. But they're all much older and they're about to go off to college. But this is a whole year in one book, and it just follows Charlie and his friends and what they kind of get up to, and it's so good. It's literally going to be me in like 3 weeks when all my friends leave me. Bye. So yeah, I can relate to this book too much. If you've read the book, you know the scene where Charlie and Patrick are on the golf course, getting drunk. Before someone leaves for uni, I just wanna, sit on a golf course and just reminisce about everything that they've been through. And I love it. It sounds really cheesy, but it's not in the book. Trust me, it's not. It's just really lovely. And I've gone on about this book for way too long, but I love it. I love it. That's all of them. That is my wrap up for BookTube-A-Thon. Sorry it's late. Sorry it's extremely late. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for more book stuff. Bye.